Okay guys, well, in the previous video I uploaded a few days ago, I mentioned to you in regards to ISON interacting with the sun, and now the sun was starting to react with these X flares, and in particular this X3 flare, this very rare crochet magnetic flare. And since that time, it seems that every time the sun does anything, the earth reacts almost immediately. Now, it also seems that the energy that we're receiving through these solar hits is affecting the weather. And this typhoon is the deadliest in history to hit the Philippines. And they're saying that they've already found over 1,000 people dead. I think it's going to be even more than that. I think you're looking at probably 50,000, 100,000 by what I'm seeing with all this footage and how bad it is. It's really bad. And I've even seen just this afternoon around southeast Queensland, there's really full-on storms with hail and very unseasonal and severe weather. And so it seems to be that we're getting now a direct connection to what's going on with the sun and the weather around our planet. So that's one aspect that we can look at in regards to how this incoming energy is intensifying and affecting our planet. And it was since that X3 that, pretty much every time the sun does anything, even the smaller flares, you can see it registering on the data for, for us, for the effects that we're feeling. And it's also interesting to note, guys, we're actually in the process of having another M flare, and a very strong one. And it's still in progress as far as I can tell. I still haven't got any information from space weather about it. So it's obviously still in progress, and who knows, it might even be an X. We just don't know yet. So we'll have to keep our eye on that one. Now, we're also seeing meteors being reported 3 nights in a row. And it just continues. And this is what's going to happen. It's just like all these events are going to keep happening closer together. So instead of someone seeing a meteor every week, which is what's happening lately, it now becomes every day, Whereas a year ago it was like every year. Now it's all the time. 2011 we saw heaps of these, and as I said in that other video, this is really feeling to me like 2011 times 100. Because it's intensifying. I can feel it intensifying, and it seems to be all these events are playing out on all these different levels, and they're all culminating to the one thing, because the other level that all of these events are playing out on energetically is the political level. And remember I said, you always seem to get the war drums starting up again when we get these flares, starting up again, and these intense hits of energy seem to either signal to them that they can continue rolling out what they've got planned, and they do have something planned, or whether it just gives them that energy to want to fulfill whatever it is they've got in mind. I tend to see a lot of timing with all of their plans probably is due to these celestial events, and when they think it's going to be the best time for them energetically to make their moves. But they obviously have information about all of this that we don't. What do you think is locked up under the Vatican? It's all the information that they have about the celestial events that occur at the end of the cycle. Okay, and this is exactly what's happening. We're at the end of the cycle, and it's all about to play out, and they know it. And it's getting harder for them to hide, so that's why they're going even more insane, because they don't care anymore. That's why they're giving guys proctology exams for rolling through stop signs. They don't give a shit. They don't care. You know, and don't worry, I've even started seeing the police presence pick up in my little town. And, you know, they've been given a directive, guys, to get out there now and in our face a bit more and get to know people a bit more and get to be on, you know, that level a little bit more and feel, you know, it's almost like they've been told to make sure we feel their presence and their dominance over us. And this is because, again, it's another aspect of how everything's playing out. So we've got this cosmic stuff, and now we've got all of, you know, this political stuff starting up since these X flares happened. We now start seeing, you know, all of this other behavior start rolling out. So the US and Israel have lost their voting rights over their dispute about Palestine because they feel that they don't want Palestine able to join UNESCO, which is basically the education and scientific arm of the UN. And because of this, you know, Palestine wanting to join and being allowed to, the US and Israel have now said, well, we're not paying, and, you know, just are showing their colours, basically, that they don't care. I mean, it's really the education and science. I mean, it just goes to confirm to us that they really don't give a shit, you know, that they're even being seen in this light. And they're happy to be seen aligned and as allies. And, you know, it's not really the Jewish that are in control here, it's the Zionists. So we have to really understand that there is a element and an agenda of a certain group to take the Jewish people and culture and use it as a front for what they wanted to roll out. And they're doing that with the help of the US, and their plans include Syria and Iran. And it's a lot more to do than just oil. But I'm not going to go into that in this video. But I just wanted to show you that you can see events are starting to happen again. And this is just an indication of where we're at, you know. And then we also have these talks that they were having, all right? And it comes out that the deal's unlikely. At one stage, you know, the Zionists have basically said it's just bad. You know, they don't want anything to do with it. And, you know, they're not happy with what's going on. They don't want to agree to anything. And the breaking news is that that they all walked away from the talks and nothing was concluded. And this is all this nuclear stuff happening. And of course, this is the big card they're trying to play against Iran. So be ready for all that psyop about Iran, okay, and Syria, and really sick stuff coming out about these countries, you know, trying to shape your perception about them. Okay, just remember at the end of the day, guys, they're people, they're humans like us. They're not different, they're the same as us, they've just got a different perspective of reality. And so, you know, we all need to break through that and realize that it's us against the machine and not us against each other. So most of all the bullshit that comes out about what's going on over in Syria or Iran, you know, when it's like this really sick, horrible stuff, you know, it can be traced back to people trying to utilize it and condition people to believe a certain thing. So at the end of the day, the Iranian people are like you, they have families, they live in houses, they go to work. They're not all terrorists. And they're probably, you know, very unnerved with feeling that they are in the crosshairs of the Zionists and the US pitbull. And I would be too if I was them. And so we need to start understanding that this is what's going on with Iran, and Syria is the same. And not look to these countries as though there's some type of, you know, evil in them that needs to be worried about. It's just ridiculous, okay? These countries are some of the oldest, if not the oldest countries. You know, Iran used to be Persia, okay? Do some research into Persia and the Aryans and the history behind Iran. Do some research into Iraq. Do some research into what was the first thing that the US war machine hit when they first went into Iraq. Find out where they raided first. You know, all of these things start giving you clues to the other agendas that are at work here. And why I know that they're going into Iran, and it's all based on this activity with what's happening cosmically. And as crazy as that may sound to people, well, it's just right there. I mean, we can see we've got X flares, we've had X flares. Now there's nuclear talks when there were no talks about the war or anything nuclear. It all settled down, and suddenly we can see this back in the headlines again. You know, now we've got the US and Israel in the headlines once again with UNESCO, you know, because they're not paying any money and trying to do that. So anyway, it is what it is. You can see how it's connected to the activity. And there's even information out there where people have done studies about the solar maximums and how they can be connected to war. So it happens. It happens either by design, or it happens by just influence, cosmic influence, or it happens by both, which is probably what I tend to go with, because I always try to tend to take the middle road when I can and be open to, you know, whatever I can be open to. But anyway, I wanted to give you that info and yeah, just say that I think we're going to start seeing more stuff coming out about Iran and Syria, and it's probably not going to be very nice. And let's see how this all develops, and let's see how this develops, and what other information we can get from all of this new solar activity that we're seeing as well. So I don't think it's going to really calm down, you know, guys, so get used to it. And really, I would start going and getting supplies and stuff like that. You know, if you've started thinking about it more, you know, now's the time to probably start doing it, because especially if we can see that this new solar activity seems to be affecting the weather more, you know, rather than earthquakes and volcanics. So, you know, obviously there's different energy that we receive, and we can even see that in the data, because as I said, the data's now picked up again. And it's once again, you know, not calm. It's very unsettled, and it's due to continue. All right, well, I'll leave it there, guys, and as per usual, I will link everything underneath the video. And as always, peace out.